live in the light to dispel the darkness. Dear friends in Jesus Christ, we are in the fourth Sunday of Lent. It is also called Laetare Sunday. Laetare is a Latin word that means rejoice. This Sunday serves as a break within the sober season of Lent, providing a brief interval from the penitential tone. We are called to rejoice amidst the Lenten observance, with the hope to anticipate Easter as the Gospel highlights the ultimate victory of light over darkness. The Gospel reading returns to an image of light that John begins in the first chapter. In John chapter 1 verses 4 to 5, John described the Word, that is, Jesus, as the light and told the story of a battle between light and darkness. In John chapter 1 verse 9, we are told that the light enlightens every person who is coming into the world. John chapter 3 verses 19 to 21 clarifies what the role of light is. The light shines for all people, but this shining can lead to different outcomes depending on how people respond to the light. Nicodemus, a Pharisee, had a deep spiritual hunger. He was curious about Jesus and what Jesus taught, so he chose to come when no one could see him. Nicodemus might have chosen the night to avoid public scrutiny or backlash from his fellow Pharisees. The nighttime meeting could also carry symbolic meaning. In the Gospel of John, light and darkness are often used metaphorically to represent spiritual understanding and ignorance, respectively. Nicodemus approaching Jesus in the dark could symbolize his initial lack of spiritual understanding or enlightenment. However, Nicodemus didn't fully grasp Jesus' teachings, so Jesus used a familiar Old Testament story to help him understand. This story was something Nicodemus, being a devout Pharisee, would have well known. The story of Moses lifting up the bronze serpent in the wilderness. It foreshadows his crucifixion and the salvation he would bring. There are several parallels between the Moses story and the Jesus story. In both stories, the people were in danger of death because of their sins. God provides the agent of salvation, the bronze serpent in the first story and the Son of Man in the second. The agent of salvation is lifted up. The people are saved by looking at or believing in God's agent of salvation. However, there are two significant differences. The bronze snake was only a piece of bronze, having no saving power. Jesus has the saving power, and looking at the lifted up bronze snake gave the Israelites extended physical life. Looking upon the lifted up Jesus gives us eternal life. Jesus says the Son of Man must be lifted up because God so loved the world that he gave his only Son. It means that God allows his Son to be lifted up on the cross for us. That is the measure of his love for us. Jesus says, light has come into the world, and people loved darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. The light of Christ exposes the darkness of sin, and it calls for a repose from each one of us. Jesus is the light that has come into the world, but people preferred the darkness. The contrast between light and darkness is a dichotomy that holds profound implications for our spiritual journey. To dispel darkness, one must embrace the light. As we navigate the complexities of our lives, we often find ourselves surrounded by the shadows of sin, doubt, and hopelessness. The world can be a dark and challenging place, and it is in these moments that the light of Christ becomes our guiding star. Unfortunately, some of us still prefer to remain in the shadows. It is like a choice between doing what is right and being open, or doing wrong and hiding. Today, Jesus continues to be lifted up in our midst through the proclamation of the gospel, the celebration of the Eucharist, and the witness of us believers. In every generation, the crucified and risen Christ is presented as the antidote to the darkness in the world. The metaphorical journey from darkness to light invites us to live in the light. When we allow the light of God's forgiveness to shine in our lives, it brightens up every corner, forgives every sin, restores our relationship with God, and renews our lives. Moreover, we shall be bearers of Jesus' light in our relationships. We are to let this light of Christ shine through us into the lives of the people around us through our interactions with family, friends, and colleagues. The light we give to others can dispel the darkness of their lives. Additionally, we shall foster a spark of gratitude by cultivating a grateful heart, recognizing and appreciating the blessings in our life. Gratitude dispels negativity and opens our hearts to the transformative power of Christ's light. As we journey through this Lenten season, may we confront the darkness within our hearts and turn our gaze towards the eternal light of Christ.